Guys, welcome back to another educational video. As you guys understand, this is kind of unusual for this channel to do any educational videos, but we'll do from now on, guys, sometimes. Maybe like 100 times a week. Anyway, today, guys, I wanna discuss, which has been already discussed 100 million times since reselling has started back before dinosaurs roamed the earth. This topic has started. The buyers misusing return reasons, and this there is an example of this here, and I'll show you the product. So sold this the Lego race cars, like book and building toy, so it's like all in one. And, this is by Lego Klotz. So Klotz is very important, guys, to include in the listing. 100% certified Klotz. See, that's the back of it, and that's front. So anyway, original price, guys, was $29.99. See, right here. So anyway, so what happened was, guys, as they say in American Pie, in bank camp or band camp, bank camp, the buyer bought this set, and I listed it as new because this has seals on the box. The box is sealed. The issue is, in this particular case, which I'll tell you to be careful with, guys, I cannot hold the camera properly, so I apologize. Which is normal. See, there's I don't know if you're gonna see the seal, but anyway. So this set has a book outside of the box, and it's not sealed altogether. Even though they should like put seal, maybe it had a seal, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The book is outside of the box. So the box is sealed with the components or parts inside of it for building this toy. So I listed it as new. That's where you have to be careful. But in the description, I pointed out there are imperfections. Even though when you buy a new product, even when it's sealed with the plastic, there will be imperfections sometimes. It depends where it was stored, and even if you buy something new at the store, or even if you go to the store, if it's going to be sealed, some of the boxes have imperfections. Any store, doesn't matter. So this box had imperfections. This particular set. See, the book had some fold marks on the corners right here. There are fold marks on it. Not like really bad, but just there are some that you can tell if you look closely. For the buyers on eBay, guys, that's why it's important. That's why I'm making this video. It's an important part of the description. And that's why sometimes I disagree with artificial intelligence listers. Sorry, Josh Galt. You're gonna have to understand this, man. I know that you're from Canada and you're not speaking Russian English. But, there are a lot of proponents, or what are they called? People who use artificial intelligence listers. Anyway, doesn't matter. Right, Josh Galt? What the hell we're talking about here? Josh Galt is a corporate manager, guys, and I'm like, reseller. So we have to kind of battle it out a little bit. But anyway, so when I sold it as new, I didn't think about that part, which I've done in the past a lot of times when there were imperfections with boxes of a new product, even with sealed. So I listed it as new, but I saw the imperfections, of course, and I described them in the description. but not in a condition, because when you choose new, it gives you a description of what can be new, which is a product that doesn't show any signs of wear, guys. Read it. For you content creators, read what new means. Now, when you have seals on the box, on this toy, it's sealed. But at the same time, what I should have done for our smart buyers who can't read or don't read, apologize if you get offended, guys. Now every day, like, a lot of people get offended. It's the new world we live in. So what I should have done is actually listed it as new other. So basically, let's skip that for now. The buyer purchased it, I shipped it, buyer received it, and guess what? He opened the return request, and what do you think he chose as a return reason? It'll be interesting. It's not what possibly he could have chosen. He chose arrived damaged. Arrived damaged, guys. It was in a box, not in a bubble mailer. It was in a box, shipped in a box. Now, when he opened this return, he described what exactly. Not described, actually. He didn't describe. What he did was he posted photos in the return, in a return case, with the box and a book, where he zoomed in on these fold marks right here that I just told you about, which I described in the description. So he zoomed in on them in a return case. He didn't write anything, just zoomed in on three. He uploaded 3 photos. He showed this, then he showed this. You see, there is right here, there is this imperfection on the box, and some other one, like I think this, you see on the corner. So those are imperfections of a new product. Now, he can choose arrived damaged in this case, thinking it arrived damaged. But in reality, he could have chosen not as described or doesn't match description or photos, which he didn't. Either way, in those all cases, arrived damaged, not as described, doesn't match description or photos, this is seller's fault. And you can get dinged for it on your metrics. Now, the thing about it, which makes it a different situation in my case, is that, as you guys know, when you describe things in the description, and as you guys already learned from many content creators in the past, most buyers do not read anything. So they see new, they see photos, and they buy thinking, of course, that's a new product. It's supposed to be without, as it says, in a condition. If you read what new means, it can have imperfections. So, when you list something, any of you on eBay, mostly on eBay in this case, because I'm not gonna even point out Mercari Poshmark because it's pointless in this case, because on Mercari and Poshmark would have been absolutely normal situation. On eBay, and like I said, the thing is, he opened it and he chose arrived damaged. I messaged him. I apologize, you have to be still professional. And I pointed that out. I said, did you read the description? Where I pointed out those things that he zoomed in on in the photos. I messaged him from the contact buyer and also inside of the return case. Guess what? He never responded to that. So he realized that he did not read the description. So, but that's normal. So for you guys, as you understand, I'll talk about it a little bit, is that when you have this situation happen, you can it's not gonna matter. You can report the buyer, which I've done. And also, eBay rep called me and we talked about the situation, and eBay rep agreed that this is on the buyer because it was described that there are imperfections like that. Now, in the cases like those, guys, which I've done a lot of times in the past and should have done with this, you should learn from this, is that when you have imperfections with a new product, even if it's sealed entirely in a plastic, do not most likely list it as new in a condition. If there are imperfections, like small dent, small like this on the corner, you see I fixed it. If there is a fold mark on the book, it's just situations can be with different products differently. It depends on how they are new, if they're in a box new, or they're like even books that are new, thinking they're new but not sealed. Now, this kind of buyer may come along once in a while. Some people will not even pay attention to that. Some buyers, they just get it, and or they will read the description and know, so they will not probably purchase it. But this particular buyer did not read the description for sure, because that's what happened. He thought that it is damaged, arrived damaged, even though it's a new product, but it arrived damaged, even though there were description about it, the imperfections. And the eBay rep agreed with that. He said he can report the buyer, and they actually on their end also, the rep reported the buyer also from their side. What does it do? Nothing. Can do a bunch of lives, discuss Josh Galt. Sorry guys, we're not gonna discuss Josh Galt anymore. Josh is like sent me like a Canadian flag, told me to move to Canada, to Toronto. Said it's expensive. You have to do a lot of lives to make money. Even though Josh only makes about, only around 25,000 per life, but for Canada guys, it's expensive there. He said, Roman, you gotta do like lives like me, like every day. That way you can make at least, maybe 500. But anyway, John and Jenna discuss it on their live. A lot of content creators discuss this kind of situation before, even on videos. So point is, guys, to prevent this, the value, of course, is different. If you sell it as new without imperfections, value is this price. If you sell it as new other, which I want to talk about, and this is what I should have done, which I've done a lot in the past, even with sealed boxes, when there are imperfections, what will happen in the new other situation, when you select new other, you will have a ability to put in a condition, not for those buyers. Also, what I usually do, and I didn't do on that product, I didn't put read in the title. And that's why, people tend not, if you don't put read and there are imperfections, in my opinion, there is probably 80% of people who will not read any description. When you put read in the title, most likely, hopefully, 90% will read. They're not sure exactly what they're reading, but they will. But some people will not even, like I had a buyer recently on one item said like, I had please read in the title. And he messaged me, said, oh, this product has probably some issues because you put in the title, please read. And I said, yes, that's why I put please read. It's just kind of, like it's like mentality kind of different. Like I would read anyway. If it's new or used or new other or refurbished, I'll go in the description and read like naturally. But some people don't, and that's very large percentage. So anyway, just wanted to make this video, guys, for you. In this case, is that if it's new product And you can make a choice. You can put it as new, but put on the title read, which I forgot to do on this one, which is my fault. And if you put it as new in this case and put in the title read, they most likely will go into description and read, and then they will know. But if you don't and just put nothing in the title, I mean, you don't put read in the title and choose new, and it will have imperfections, that's what's most likely will happen. I think 50-50% chance that it will happen, because some buyers will not, pay attention to that. It's not like $1,000 product. It's only sold for 10 something, 10.79. So, but some people will, and that's that's a situation which I did run into it in the past before. Rarely, but that happens. So just do either new and put on title read. They will most likely read what is happening, or just do new other and just describe that's the situation that has some imperfections in the condition note. That way you will escape, most likely, this situation with this return case, and would not have to go through this ordeal of refunding, returning. Some people don't return, but this buyer did. Some people just open up return, you message, as this happened, message them to explain to them that they something that is in the description they didn't read. And I had situations when buyers would not return it, realizing they didn't read it. But this buyer did return it. So, but eBay, as you guys know, if you refund them, it's not going to go against your metrics in this case, even though they chose misused return reason as eBay rep, which actually eBay rep was correct. They did choose the wrong reason for the situation, because it didn't arrive damaged. It was like this. So anyway, just wanted to do the video like this, guys, educational a little bit. But a lot of things with eBay, which I want to point out, doesn't happen on any platform. You can do. I'm not talking about live selling. Live selling is different. On live selling, you show things, you explain. Mercari Poshmark, that would not ever happen. In Mercari and Poshmark, I would not get this return. So this happens particularly on eBay about 90% of the time, because people are very picky about things, very specifically looking for certain imperfections, certain things, finding things, especially if scammers are on another level. So that's why on eBay you have to make your choice properly. Choose properly. Choose wisely. Alright, guys. That's it. It's not a big deal. I'll just list it again this time. I'll put read in the title. And it will be just the person most likely, hopefully, will read it. But that was discussed many times, and I think that was my fault anyway. Right, Josh Galt? Josh Galt will make a laugh, say, Roman, well, either way you put it, it's your fault. Not the buyer's fault for not reading. You misused the proper condition, my friend, from United States of America. Or from Tashkent. But I wanted to say is that for the AI listers, easy lister, list easier, whatever, other ones, this is kind of a situation where people will take a photo, the description text will come up of what it is. We'll be able to see those fold marks or those imperfections on the box. I don't think right now AI has this type of capability to notice it, to point that out in the description. So, and I think that's the case in my own view of how it is. To prevent this kind of thing from happening, trusting artificial intelligence to do such descriptions with imperfections of most products that you buy to resell. There is, like, I think, in my opinion, maybe 90% of products that you buy to resell at different sourcing places that have imperfections, even new. So anyway, guys, too long of a video. Take care, stay safe and healthy.